Hi, and welcome to ECO 151, Survey of Economics. My name is Kelly Markson, and for this course we will be using the most recent edition of the Common Sense Economics book. It was released in June of 2016. A few words about the PowerPoint slides. The PowerPoint slides are basically a study guide for you. They will help you with review for your tests. This is not a substitute for doing the assigned work, which includes the reading, watching the assigned videos, listening to the podcast, or doing the readings associated with the podcast. Please be sure that you do not take shortcuts or you will wind up hurting yourself in the end. The PowerPoint slides are organized by the modules. This entire PowerPoint covers the first part of our Common Sense Economics textbook. This includes modules 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, so let's get started. In traditional economics classes, there is a lot of math and graphing. It's often very dry and challenging. This class is not like that. This class has been designed to make learning economics fairly easy and straightforward and also fun. What we intend to do is challenge some of your preconceived notions about how the world works. So what we will do in the 12 key elements of part 1 is provide a bridge between common sense and the basic principles of economics. This is not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be based on common sense. We want to get you to think critically or think like an economist, and when you do that, you're going to learn some really, really amazing things or insights about how the world really works. So in Module 1, we are covering elements 1, 2, and 3. So anytime you see CSE, that refers to the title of your textbook. CSE Part 1, Element 1 may be notated as CSE 1.1, or CSE Part 1, Element 2 would be CSE 1.2. Okay, just so if you see that type of notation, that's what we mean by that. And so in Module 1, we'll cover some of the basic principles. Incentives matter, scarcity, opportunity costs, and marginalism. So, element 1, incentives matter. You know what an incentive is. I'm sure you do. Well, this is probably one of the most important things that we'll be looking at all semester. The idea that incentives matter is the foundation for our course. In economics, we are looking at decision making. We look at human behavior, and of course, we know that incentives matter, right? You understand that. When the cost of an action increases, individuals will be less likely to choose it. When the cost of an action, when the benefits of an action increase, individuals are more likely to choose it. That's the basic idea. This is a very simple idea. And it's a powerful tool because it applies to almost everything we do. So what are incentives? Incentives are basically rewards or penalties associated with choices. So a change in an incentive will alter the behavior of people. So incentives influence the choices of individuals in all areas, in their personal areas, in business, and also political decisions. Now, the foundation of our capitalist system is based on the idea of incentives. Okay, so price acts as an incentive. So prices coordinate the actions of buyers and sellers. So let's look at how this works. So price alters the incentive confronted by both the buyers and sellers of a good or service. So think about that for a moment. We all have been buyers in the market. When the price of something goes up, this means that we're less likely to buy it. So higher prices will encourage buyers to purchase less of a good. But if you're selling a product. So, for example, in the market, you are probably the seller of your own labor. So when your wage or the price of your labor goes up, you're probably more willing to sell more or work more hours in order to earn more money. So higher prices encourage sellers to supply more. So if consumers want to buy more than sellers are willing to supply, now think about that for a moment. So if consumers are eager to buy more than sellers are willing to sell, then this means that the prices will rise. Okay? The higher prices will reduce the quantity purchased and increase the quantity supplied until the two are brought together into balance. What happens if the opposite occurs? So what will happen if producers are supplying more than consumers are willing to purchase? So think about that. If sellers want to sell more than buyers want to buy, inventories will start to build up. And this provides an incentive to the seller to start lowering the price. We often see this, for example, at the end of the summer. Our summer clothes tend to go on sale because if inventories are high, sellers don't want to be storing those clothes. They want to get rid of them. And so that's when we often see summer clothes go on sale. So as prices decline, the quantity supplied will fall and the quantity demanded will increase until the two are brought into balance. Okay, so incentives also affect political action. Voters tend to vote in their own self-interest. They tend to vote for the political candidate that will positively affect their well-being. Politicians tend to be motivated by getting reelected. So they tend to vote for decisions that will make them more likely to get reelected. Think about this for a moment. Why do people run for office or make political contributions or volunteer for political campaigns? Incentives tend to provide the answers in all these cases. Now, some people think that incentives only matter when people are greedy or selfish, and this is not true. We are more likely, for example, to jump into a shallow swimming pool to rescue a child than we are to jump into the rapid currents approaching the Niagara Falls. Think about your giving to charity. Are you more likely to pass on your hand-me-downs or your best clothes? In each of these cases, incentives matter. All right, that's the end of that element. In the next video, we will be looking at CSC 1.2.